What's up, everybody? This is the Foam Finger, your favorite sports podcast, and I'm here today with a interim co-host. I almost said host. Carter Moore.
What's up?
Would you like to introduce yourself a little bit?
Carter Moore. Used to be Parker's roommate a couple years ago. I was almost on the show before. Unfortunately, we had some technical difficulties after recording, but I'm back today and better than ever.
Mm-hmm. As Seb is currently in quarantine right now, sadly, with COVID-19, as is rampant. But today, with Carter, me and him are going to talk about NFL playoffs and a little bit of college football because that just wrapped up. But let's get started. Carter, what do you expect, especially with this weird cast of teams this year in the NFL playoffs?
It was just an incredible ending to this season. Just that last day, there were so many just super close games, overtime games. Came down to literally the last 2 seconds of an overtime game to decide not only the teams that were in that game,
It was two teams,
but also the Steelers, whether they were going to be in the playoffs, and it was just a crazy scenario.
There was a quote from Justin Herbert after that game saying that he never wanted a tie more than ever.
Yeah, I'm sure he did.
We got teams like the Bengals and we got the Raiders somehow. The Steelers, which is a surprise. Who would you say your biggest surprise, honestly, since we're on that train right now?
Ooh, biggest surprise.
For me, it's probably the Steelers.
I think I'm going to have to agree with that, yeah. It seems weird that Big Ben is in the playoffs again because he just hasn't seemed to be the greatest quarterback this season.
Yeah, but you'd think the Ravens would have been in it over him, and the Steelers just because it's Lamar Jackson. As much as I don't like the Ravens, Lamar Jackson is a good quarterback. Maybe not so much this year, but he's still a top 10 quarterback. But seeing the Steelers win that game, it was just surprising. That's burp. But yeah, but overall in the season, like I mentioned last episode, the Bengals were the biggest surprise probably this season.
Yeah, they really overachieved this year. I didn't expect them to be a top 4 seed in the playoffs at all. I thought maybe they'd
win their division.
I thought maybe they'd be on the bubble for a wild card. Their offense just exploded this year. It was awesome.
But to win a division that's always extremely competitive in the AFC North, that division has to be top 3 most competitive divisions in the league. You got the NFC West, you got the AFC North, and competitive wise, I wouldn't. The AFC West was also, the West in general was just kind of competitive in general this year, but it's interesting to see especially the Eagles are in this year. That's also another surprise, honestly. I didn't think that was going to happen. The Colts not being in it was also another surprise. The Chargers losing. You can't be mad at that, but you can be very surprised about how that outcome of the end of the game happened with that tie.
Here, what do you think on this? Do you think that that the timeout that the Chargers called, do you think that was a big game changer for the Raiders' game plan?
Yes.
Or do you think so?
Yes, because I guarantee they were probably just let Big Ben end his career. Let's end his career. Just end it a tie. But I think that's what the Raiders' plan was. But I think the Chargers had a completely different plan and they wanted to win that game.
Yeah, I'd say that's a good take.
Because listening to Derrick Henry. Oh my God. Excuse me.
Derrick Henry.
Listening to Derek Carr's post-game interview, if I can figure out how to do that. But excuse me. But listening to that quote, I think they had originally a different plan, And then once Brandon Staley called that timeout, I think it was a completely different ball game.
Yeah, I can see that. What do you think of the top seeds going into this? You think what are you thinking from the Titans and the Packers, and you expecting them to go all the way, or do you think they're?
I don't think the Packers are going to make it. I don't. As much as I like to say that the Titans will do good, I need to see first how everybody else plays in the first round. I don't honestly think that the Packers will do much. I think they're. Everybody wants a lot of people want Aaron Rodgers to win MVP, but I don't think he's been that good of a quarterback all year. I think Brady has always been, this year, been the better quarterback, and I think Aaron Rodgers doesn't care enough this year to actually win a Super Bowl.
I see what you mean with the doesn't care enough comment, because he's definitely made some comments this year that were questionable. It almost seems like he doesn't like the Packers anymore, and it's kind of weird to me that he just keeps playing, and then he just, I won't play in the Super Bowl because of these restrictions, so I'm just gonna announce that right now. Sorry guys, you're going to play Jordan Love. And it's just weird that he's doing stuff like that. I do think that for parts of the season he was probably the best quarterback, but I think that Brady was definitely more reliable, definitely a better teammate and better overall quarterback this season.
And if I can talk about the Packers this year, I think a great comparison is the Brooklyn Nets in the playoffs last year, that they believed so much that they were going to win just because of their talent. And Aaron Rodgers can take a couple weeks off because he's unvaccinated and then just come back and win. But I think karma's going to hit them just how the Brooklyn Nets did in the playoffs. And they will understand that they can't just willy-nilly just pretend they're going to be the best. I mean, great, you have the number one in the NFC, but you have to prove yourself. You can't just walk in expecting to win. You have to want to win, not to expect.
And what's big for them is I believe they're going to be playing Tampa Bay.
Green Bay?
To get it. Yeah, because, it's Tampa Bay or the Eagles, but, I mean, come on. The Eagles are winning that game.
But who knows? I mean, anything can happen, really. But if I was the one picking who is winning that game, I personally think that it's going to be the Buccaneers. They're just overall a better team. I honestly, personally believe that if they would have won that's a given. If they would have won a couple more games, they would have been the number one seed. Because what's their record right now?
Shoot, I stopped paying attention the last couple of weeks. I'm not sure. Do a quick Google search.
Because I know the Packers are 13-3, if I'm correct. Because they lost to the Lions last week.
Well, it's a 17-game season now, so...
oh, shoot, so it's probably 13-4.
Yeah, 13-4, and the Buccaneers are also 13-4, but Green Bay won the tiebreaker.
What do you mean?
They got the 1 seed.
How did they win a tiebreaker because of that?
What
is a NFL tiebreaker for spots?
I know... I guess I don't know. I thought it was head-to-head matchups and then points for, but I guess not entirely. Okay, yeah, so first it's head-to-head. And then second, best won-loss tied percentage in games played within the division.
Okay.
And then third is best won-loss tied percentage in all of their games. And then fourth, best won-loss tied percentage in games played within the conference.
That's just already too complicated. That's just already way too complicated just to make. I think if you're going to... Because I know a tiebreaker in the NHL, it's how many points you score in a season. Because that's right now, previously, that's what had the Boston... Because the Boston Bruins only had 1 point more than the Red Wings and the Red Wings would have been in contention for the playoffs. But I mean, they still are. But I think the NFL just needs to change that. That's already too confusing.
Yeah. There's 12 steps to it actually. The 11th
That's just too much. You need one
touchdowns.
step. How many points you score in a season, and then go by that.
If you get all the way to 12 steps, they just do a coin toss.
That's just too much. But continuing with our playoff talk, what are your favorites right now?
For the Super Bowl?
Yeah.
I do like the Rams a bit. I think they're going to show up. I think the Buccaneers are very good, but with the whole Antonio Brown thing, they might be a little bit uncomfortable offensively just because in most of his games he played, he did lead the team in targets. So I think
you're
one
saying
of those two.
their play, like their offensive scheme is going to be off, basically.
It could be. I think it really depends on whether the defense challenges that or not. And I mean, Tom Brady's not going to have a bad game, but like, I don't know, if no one's open, there's not really much he can do.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure. And I mean, Chris Godwin's out, isn't he? And then Leonard Fournette's also out, I believe. And they just have Mike Evans and Gronk. So I think, really, I mean, going into this playoff game with the Eagles, I think that could be a very back and forth game with a lot of those weapons gone.
I think they'll be all right against the Eagles just because, I don't know, maybe I'm disrespecting the Eagles a little bit here, but I don't think that they're a super good team. I think that the Buccaneers just have a lot more depth at non-skill positions.
Like O-line and...
Yeah, like their offensive line is phenomenal, and then just overall defense, I think they've got the edge.
Yeah.
But I think it'll really come to be tested when they're playing Jair Alexander and Adrian Amos in the Packers secondary in week 2.
Yeah. I think, going off of that, we definitely could see a close game with that round. But I think the closest game in the playoffs will be the Steelers-Chiefs first round. I don't think...
You think so?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, I do. 110%. Because I think the Steelers' offense can easily go plow through the Chiefs' defense. The Chiefs' secondary is awful. So, I mean, like, they lost to the Bengals, bro. Like, the Bengals... No shame in the Bengals. But, like, that is an extremely young team. And you have people like Tyrann Mathieu and Chris Jones on your defense, and you're not good.
Hey, the Bengals were the 4 seed.
The Bengals
they're
are great.
A lot of teams
I love
this
the
year.
Bengals. But, like, you're telling me a Chiefs defense that has gone to the Super Bowl is allowing Chase Young just to drop rookie receiving records on top of them? Like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
It's because Jackson Mahomes is dancing too much. I'm telling you, I'm telling you, if Jackson Mahomes stops dancing, the Chiefs will be better.
Shoot, who was it on the Steelers that he caught the first down and then he started dancing and he ran on the clock?
Chase Claypool.
Yeah,
Chase Young.
Chase Claypool.
Oh, dude, that was. We were in California for that too. Me and I think Trey. We were walking back from CVS, and we just see it happen on screen, and we're like, what? But, again, I think if the Steelers could really pull things together, they have the defensive player. Their defense is great. Like, the Steelers' defense has notoriously been great for a while, and with T.J. Watt being the foregone conclusion at Defensive Player of the Year, I think they could give Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce and Tyreek Hill a run for their money.
Okay.
I think that will be the most... If things go the way I'm predicting they are going to go, I think that will be one of the biggest upsets in playoff history.
Bang. That's a bold claim.
All right, hey, you heard it first. The foam finger said it first. that the Steelers will beat the Chiefs in the playoffs first round exit.
Well, Parker said that first. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to say I'm taking the Chiefs in that matchup, but I do see your points. It might come down to who dances more, Jackson Mahomes or Chase Claypool. But I see what you're saying.
Hey, it's the TikTok Bowl. We're literally gonna be seeing the TikTok Bowl.
What if they just start dancing at each other's logos before the game?
They start doing a Corvette.
Juju comes back.
Juju will probably be at the game, let's be honest. Like, he's not going to just not be at the playoffs, at Big Ben's. Probably not, but more than likely last game. I do think the Steelers are going to win that game, but it's going to be crazy because it's going to be like how it was for Drew Brees' last game last year. Drew Brees ended his career in the playoffs. So,
didn't really think about that actually.
Is the Steelers game at Arrowhead or Heinz?
It'll be at Arrowhead.
It's at Arrowhead. You're right, because it was his last game at Heinz a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, because they won't get home field no matter what.
I almost call them the Mahomes. the Chiefs have the higher seed, so that's why.
The Kansas City Mahomes.
What do you think your most surprising matchup could possibly be?
The whole AFC, like the New England and Buffalo game, I think that one could go either way. And then the Las Vegas and Cincinnati game, I think will be a shootout, probably.
You think so?
That's what I would expect.
I think Cincinnati's defense is just a little bit better than Las Vegas's.
You got Cincinnati in that one?
Oh, yeah.
I think I have to favor them also. But
just seeing how that last game went not the last game, the second to last game, the penultimate. But I think seeing how that game against a Super Bowl contender really shows what the Bengals have accomplished this year. I mean, there was always those worries. Remember at the beginning of the year when everybody was worried about Jamar Chase, and he was saying like the ball was a weird shape and the lines were off.
Said he couldn't catch NFL balls.
Oh my god, dude! And it was
so
like
scary.
Everybody was worried about that. Like Cincinnati fans. I mean, I was personally worried about it. I love Joe Burrow. This is almost like the Joe Burrow fan podcast. But by the way, Joe Burrow, if you ever want to come on the show, let me know. Anyways, but seeing how that game went against Kansas City, I don't. Oh, you're honestly right, because it could be a shootout. I mean, that game could go either way, and Derek Carr has really proven that he's good. I personally never thought that Derek Carr was that good until this year, and he's proven me wrong. Like, Derek Carr is a great quarterback, and I regret saying that. I guess just didn't watch enough Derek Carr until this year.
Yeah, he's really had a bit of a breakout season this year. I kind of always considered him like kind of an average starter. Like, he's good enough to where he definitely shouldn't have been cut, but like I never considered him like a top 10 quarterback. And this year, I think he's top 10. He's probably right around 9 or 10, but I think he's top 10.
Yeah.
Then with the Bengals matchup, I think I don't know. I kind of hope he's able to recover after that super long game against the Chargers last week, but I guess we'll see what happens.
Did you see? I saw on social media today. I was on Instagram, and CBS Sports posted that Mike Tomlin fell asleep, and it was like the score was like 30-something to 12. And he said, I fell asleep because I was comfortable about the score. And it showed like a fake like picture of him saying like this is probably what he woke up like after the end of after seeing the end score. Because the game was like, what, 2 points or 3 points?
Oh, yeah.
And it showed like a picture of him like, oh, this is what I imagine Mike Tomlin waking up to that score would look like.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Dude, that was easily my most favorite matchup of last week. The Chargers-Raiders.
Yeah,
That was
that
just
was
a great
crazy.
game. That was just a great game.
The Chargers just came out of nowhere and then did it again. And then did it again.
And
Just-
dropped a lot of
just
passes.
so many fourth down conversions. Yeah, and then drop the open second down passes just to
Justin Herbert
complete it on
in
fourth.
that game really just carried that team.
Yeah.
Like, Justin Herbert also another top 10 quarterback this year. I mean, if we want to just go into that, I mean, who do you have as your top 10 for from this season?
Ooh.
Number one, I can go first while you think.
Okay.
So, at number one, I got Brady, Tom Brady. He was easily the best quarterback this season. I mean, if you think Aaron Rodgers was better than Tom Brady, you're wrong. I'm sorry, but I mean, Aaron Rodgers was the number two. I'll say, as much as I don't like Aaron Rodgers as a person is a cool dude, but I don't like him as a player. I feel like that's valid for a lot of people.
Off this year, yeah.
Number three, this year.
That's kind of where I get stuck too. There's just so many.
I mean, you have like Joe
contenders for that.
Burrow, who's been great, Dak Prescott, who's been great, Justin Herbert. I can just go and like Derek Carr, Josh Allen. Josh Allen's probably lower on the list just because of a couple of the games that he's had this year. But Kirk Cousins is another one that's kind of broken out this year. So I'd say Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers. I don't even think I'd have Patrick Mahomes at top 10.
Really?
No.
I think you pulled
maybe
it together towards the end of the season.
I would say at 3, Justin Herbert.
You think he's all the way up at 3 for you?
Yeah.
That's
honestly.
up there.
I think he's had a very impressive season all year. Matthew Stafford's probably my number 4. Joe Burrow at 5. Kyler Murray at 6. Probably Derek Carr at 7, honestly. I didn't mention Josh. So Josh Allen at 8. I'd say Kirk Cousins at 9. And Dak. Ooh, wait. I'm going to scoot Kirk down. I'm going to say Dak's at 8. And Kirk Cousins at 9. And then, who did I have after Kirk Cousins?
Have you said Stafford yet?
I did. He was 4.
Oh, my bad. I've been thinking about Stafford all the time. I was like, bro, is he going to put Stafford in here?
Yeah, I put Stafford in. I put Kyler. I guess I can say Russ at 10. I mean, Russell Wilson's just a good quarterback. I mean, he just doesn't have a good team. But that was very choppy. That was hard to get through. But what about you?
Should do a summary, just like real quick, go down through it.
Yeah, just go down through it. And if I question any, I'll ask.
I think Brady and Rodgers are 1A, 1B. I mean, they're pretty much the best two without question this season.
Jameis Winston, number 3.
You got me.
Gotcha. Red-handed.
At 3, so for me, 3 through like 6 or 7 are all just seriously neck and neck.
There's just been so many good quarterbacks this year.
Yeah, and there's just been a lot of parity. There's just been a lot of quarterbacks who've been pretty good. At 3, I think I'll go with, I'm a little biased from fantasy here because I had him in my fantasy team. I'll go with actually Josh Allen up at 3.
Really? That high, especially with some of those games he's had?
He's had some serious off games, but he's had some really good games other than that. And he did lead the Bills to a pretty good record this year. And
I mean, fair.
I don't know. I like their chances, at least in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah.
Stafford up there. I'll probably go with Stafford at 4. And then,
Yeah, it gets tough here, huh?
And then I'm going to say a three-way tie for 5 through 7 because I just can't decide. Joe Burrow, Justin Herbert, and Kyler Murray are all right in there. And then probably Dak Prescott at 8. And then probably Derek Carr and Kirk Cousins at 9 and 10.
Like a tie in between those two.
Yeah, they've both been really good. And then probably my first few out would be
Lamar.
Lamar. Yeah, he just missed a lot of the season. Was his big problem. Jalen Hurts played pretty well this year, but not good enough to be top 10. And then Wilson definitely had a big down stretch there.
Yeah, but it's I liked Russell Wilson, and I think he proves that he's always a top 10 quarterback. I mean, he's talented. He's been talented since he's joined the league at a 3rd round pick.
Yeah, I love Russell Wilson. He was so just underrated going into the league. Just honestly, just because he was short. That's all it was. Just because his height didn't start with a 6. Teams didn't believe in him, and he's completely proven every team wrong. And he's been a phenomenal quarterback forever. He carries the Seahawks.
I don't even know if he's going to be on the Seahawks next year.
Yeah, those trade talks are intense.
A lot of Giants. I don't think Broncos. I've heard Broncos, and I don't think that's going to happen.
There's some Vikings, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't see that. I think the Giants are probably the best destination. But kind of going back into the playoffs, you mentioned the Rams, and then who was your AFC team?
AFC team?
Yeah.
For the Super Bowl?
Mm-hmm.
Gosh, I think I'm very unsure about
it's
this.
So tough. I think
the
all
AFC
those teams are so good.
Yeah, it's got a lot of parity.
I think I can eliminate the Chiefs, though. I don't think the Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl.
Dang.
That's my. It's not because I hate the Chiefs. I just don't believe in them this year. I really just don't.
That's risky.
I don't.
I think the Chiefs could pop off, but
I think my 3 favorite teams
gosh.
in the AFC for the Super Bowl are the Titans, especially with Derrick Henry back. Julio finally scored a touchdown in his last game of the regular season. A.J. Brown's going to be back. So I think Ryan Tannehill and Mike Vrabel will be able to get things rolling. So that puts one of those teams, Titans, up in that top 3. I think the Bengals are actually... this is their time to go. If any year it's the Bengals' year to win a Super Bowl, it's this year. Easily.
I think being so young, they've got future years, though.
Yes, but seeing how hurt, not just winning the Super Bowl, but since they won the AFC North, this is their year. This is their year to go all the way. Honestly.
Okay.
And, I mean, of course, like you mentioned, they're going to just build off what they had this year. And I think if they haven't had a better chance, it's now to go all the way. And I honestly think that, I'll say it, the Bengals and I think it's gonna be the Bengals and Rams. I really do think so. As much as I hate to say, I don't think the Titans are winning. I think they're gonna be AFC champion exits. I think in the first round, I think the Patriots will win. I think the Steelers. I think the Bengals. And in the NFC, it's the Bucks. What are the other matchups?
We've got San Francisco and Dallas, and then we've got Arizona and the Rams.
I think San Francisco beats Dallas, and I think the Rams win.
That San Francisco-Dallas matchup is
I think
tight
I don't
to me.
I don't think Dallas will win. I honestly don't. I think Deebo Samuel is too dangerous against that defense, especially with Trayvon Diggs giving up so many yards. I think that is such a dangerous team to go against in the first round for Dallas. I would have liked if Dallas, let's say, went up against the Bucks, I think they would have a way better chance. But I mean, it doesn't go that way because they both won their division. But again, like if let's say the Eagles won this year, I think they would probably swapped, and the Dallas would probably went with them, and I think Dallas would have had a better chance to be in the second round than they are right now.
Back to the AFC Super Bowl contenders. I think that Buffalo could be a little bit of, I don't want to say it like a dark horse team because they're a 3 seed. But
I would say a dark horse team, honestly. But I do think the Patriots.
Sorry, I think just because they've kind of choked in the last couple of years, because Josh Allen, notoriously just starting to throw interceptions like crazy in the playoffs. I think this is kind of an opportunity for him to show that he isn't a choker, I guess. I think that this is a gigantic game for him against the Patriots. And I think if they win that first game, they might get a little bit of momentum. And I think they could possibly move on to the conference championship. And then you've got Buffalo, Tennessee there. And I think that would be a pretty crazy matchup also.
Buffalo, Tennessee? Oh, yeah. I think that'll be an intense game.
If that matchup happens. I think Tennessee big time relies on whether Derrick Henry is actually healthy or whether he's just rushing back to try to help his team out. I think if he's actually healthy, they're probably the best team in the AFC.
And I think...
But we'll see.
I mean, it's still so impressive what the Titans have done without Derrick Henry and still be the number 1 seed. So, I mean, the entire AFC playoffs is just going to be so interesting to watch. I don't think there's really a very set in stone team.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think almost any combination could happen, and I wouldn't be all that surprised. I'd be like, yeah, that makes sense, I guess.
So, Carter, me and Sebastian on the side talked about a new section today, or not today, but the other day, and it's called What the Fudge. And in this section, we talk about what the weirdest sports moment. It doesn't have to be this week, but since it's such a new section, but it can be previous weeks. Like let's say 2 weeks back at most. But if you wanna talk about, if both of us can honestly, because we're doing good on time right now. So what would you say one of the weirdest sports moments in the past couple of weeks has been?
Does this have to be in a sports game, or could it be like
It could be in a sports game. It can be in a press conference.
Okay.
It can be.
That's tough. I gotta think about this one.
Yeah, you can take your time. I mean, I'll look up a couple, but.
I think what we talked about previously with Chase Claypool dancing right before the end, and then obviously Antonio Brown running through the end zone.
I was gonna mention that too.
I think those are some pretty big ones. I think the Antonio Brown one is probably.
It's just getting bigger.
I consider that the craziest.
Dude, that whole situation is just getting so big, and like half of it, I don't even know if half of it's true. Like Antonio Brown was saying originally that Bruce Arians didn't care about whatever ankle injury he had, and Bruce Arians said that that's not true, and then it's just like, what is going on? And then he went on the Nelk Boys podcast and talked about the whole situation. The man went to a Brooklyn Nets game the next day.
Yeah, he got left in New York. He just went to a Nets game.
What is going on? Well, he was technically left in New Jersey.
Or New Jersey, you're right.
And he basically got to get an Uber all the way to New York City. Like, what? And, like, it's just... Like, how... Why wouldn't you just wait? It is Antonio Brown. And people keep on blaming his like acting up on CTE, but if you look at his scouting report, there's like actual like evidence that it's not CTE, it's just who Antonio Brown is. Antonio Brown is just a diva. If we want to talk about weird things that happen in sports, the Detroit Pistons just beat the Utah Jazz, which is weird. Let's be honest. That shouldn't have happened. Like, how are you gonna let a 8-win team beat you? Like, Utah, you are a top 5 team this year. I don't know.
Pretty crazy.
Did you, to kind of continue with, like, another topic in this section, there was a fight in the Detroit Red Wings game, and after the fight, the ref came up to the mic to announce, like, what the penalty was, and he goes, 5 minutes each, guys, for fighting, and he, like, pumped his fists. It's so funny. It was, like, because it was against San Jose. That wasn't this, that was last week when that happened, and it was just, it was all over sports news, and it was, I think that was, like, one of the funniest moments that's happened in the NHL specifically.
I love how hockey just embraces fighting.
Yeah, like they don't care. Like, it obviously, it changes when you get to the playoffs. Like, you want to avoid that, keep it a good game. But, like, when it's the regular season, and the referee that did that is the ref that always, in recent history, like, since, like, he's done it for multiple years, but he's always done the Stanley Cup Finals, and that group is just so good at what they do, so they just do that.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. It was a cool little fun fact. But, if we now want to get into our last section of the show, hot takes and hot cakes, Carter. So,
hot takes and hot cakes.
You know the rules by now. Basically, you give an unpopular opinion about anything. It doesn't have to be sports related. This is kind of a good tie up of the show, just to send them off. Everybody's smiling, laughing about something we said. But you know the rules. You can talk about anything unpopular. It doesn't have to relate to sports. Like we mentioned, we've done a hot dog is a sandwich, and sneezing is overrated. So go for it.
Ooh, I gotta think about this one. I didn't know this section was coming today.
It always comes. It's every show, baby.
I was caught unprepared because I wasn't a guest this time, I guess.
Yeah, you're co-host.
Oh boy. Man, I'm not sure this time. Last time that one Warriors take just came right to me, and I was like, oh yeah, let's say that. But
it can be related to food. We do a lot of food, and it always works well. But
it sucks that the Warriors take that I have before,
it didn't come on, and the show just stopped. Yeah, it sucks.
And that it was like completely true. That the Warriors are
well, it wasn't even true. Like, I mean, it was
like, it
true,
wasn't true
but
yet,
like you predicted literally that the Warriors would just be back, and it wasn't even with Klay Thompson.
Mm-hmm. The Warriors are back, and now they got Klay back, and Klay went off
20 points.
So that's a bit unfortunate. Could have been cool.
Sucks I didn't have the audio clip to do that. Like.
Gosh, this is a tough one.
This is always tough. It's always a hard one.
Yeah, I've been thinking about college football a lot recently, but that's ended, so. Just because I'm sports minded, I think I'll stay with the NFL
Okay.
on this one. And I'm going to say that I think probably Jim Caldwell gets a head coaching job this year.
Where do you think?
I think
'Cause I agree with you. I
either
100% agree with you.
I think either Minnesota or the Texans should hire
Ooh,
him.
the Texans. Did they fire there?
No, I don't think so.
Because I didn't think. I only knew of 3
But-
firings.
But like, I think they should be. I don't know.
What about the Jags?
The Jags? Oh yeah, that'd be a big one too.
I honestly
Definitely.
don't. I agree with you that I think Jim Caldwell is going to come back to head coach a team in the NFL. I think, realistically, either the Dolphins or the Jags. I think that those are his 2 prime destinations. But I think the most attractive head coaching job right now is the Vikings.
Yeah, they're definitely in the best position.
I think with Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook on that offense and having really good skill players, I think they are set up to win. They just need that head coach. Mike Zimmer wasn't it, clearly. And that's why they fired him.
Yeah. I don't know. I thought Mike Zimmer was solid.
He was average,
But,
in my opinion.
Yeah, I think a coaching change is probably good for them. I think Zimmer should probably just get another coaching job somewhere else.
Like an offensive coordinator job type thing.
Yeah, something like that. I think he's definitely qualified for that, and I think he's a good coach. I mean, he was there for, 7 or 8 years. Like, he did a decent job while he was there, and then it was just kind of time to switch things up.
Yeah. And I think with Jim Caldwell going out of those Florida teams, I think it would help them a lot. Like, look what happened with the Lions. I think, let's say he goes to Jacksonville. He has a young quarterback, a very young team that they can build around. And if what they want goes their way, I think it's kind of a punch to the Lions. I mean, it's going to be because I know other coaches are in talks with the Jags, like Doug Peterson, but I think Jim Caldwell is the best option for that team, honestly.
I like that take. I think either Caldwell, I think Zimmer is also honestly a good coach that doesn't have a job right now. And then also the Chiefs offensive coordinator, I think would be a good pick.
Eric Bieniemy's defensive coordinator, am I right?
Yeah, Bieniemy. Is he defensive?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he's defensive.
Oh, my bad.
You're good. I know who you're about to talk about, but I do agree that he deserves a job. But I don't know if they're gonna, because he deserved one last year and they never gave him one.
Yeah, for real. I don't know. I think he's a better candidate than another Jim Harbaugh.
Yeah,
I know he's looking
I don't
for
think
an
Jim
NFL
Harbaugh's
job.
leaving Michigan, honestly.
You don't think so?
No. There's no way. They just they were top 4 this year. Why is everybody saying Jim Caldwell's gonna leave? Or excuse me, Jim Harbaugh.
Jim Caldwell.
Jim Harbaugh is not. There's no way. They just extended his contract. That just doesn't logically make sense that he's gonna leave. I think he will stay with Michigan. It just makes sense.
He did say he would entertain offers, though.
I mean, I would entertain offers if they're offered to me, but I think the realistic decision for Jim Harbaugh is that he stays with Michigan. I think another coach we mentioned, Brian Flores. I think it just doesn't make sense. Why? Is it because you didn't want to pick up the Dolphins didn't want to pick up Deshaun Watson? Is that it? Or not the Dolphins. The Dolphins wanted to pick up Deshaun Watson and he wanted Tua. I don't understand. Like there was no reason for you to fire Brian Flores.
Yeah, I almost wonder if there was stuff behind the scenes going on there, because he didn't seem like a horrendous coach or anything.
No.
I mean, it was not like Urban Meyer where he's like just headline after headline of ruining
kicking kickers.
Yeah. Things were pretty rough for him.
He's just he thinks he can push the players around like they're college kids still. And I mean, seeing how that went, I guarantee that's exactly what happened at Ohio State.
Could see it. I don't know. He was at least a good recruiter until they got there. Got a lot of top recruits coming in.
Yeah, but I don't know. Just seeing how Urban Meyer is as an NFL coach, because you, as a college coach, you're not looked at like that. You're not looked at practices and stuff like that or you're not like watched as much as that as an NFL coach is. So, he probably was doing the same stuff at Ohio State. Let's be honest.
Some of it I could see. I don't know. I find it hard to believe that nothing would come out if he had.
But there was stuff that like
going on a rampage like this.
I mean, yeah, but there was stuff like that one coach. There was like a sexual assault allegation while he was there, and he like covered up for him or whatever. But, I think this is a good point to wrap up the show. Thank you, Carter, for coming on. I would personally love to have you on more. Maybe as a third host with me and Sebastian. Who knows? Get a little sports talking going. I enjoyed the conversations we had. So, hey, if you're up to it, I'm okay with it. You, me, and Sebastian, chilling on a couch, just talking sports. So, again, thank you all for listening. You can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, foamfinger_pod for Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. And then there's a Facebook group just called The Foam Finger for Facebook. And you can find us on YouTube at The Foam Finger. My name is Parker.
My name's Carter.
And you're listening to The Foam Finger. Yay!